A lead person from the DOJ is running the trial. So Biden's office is running this trial. This trial is a scam, and it's a sham, and it shouldn't happen. Thank you very much.
Will you testify, Mr. Trump?
Do you have any do your voters believe you? Do you have faith in your legal team?
Will you testify, Mr. Trump?
So he's had some decent news outside the courtroom, that being
This clown show is just getting crazy. You have Jim Jordan this morning put it on another one of his circuses. He's going to play ringmaster and some BS against Merrick Garland. This morning, Trump turned up at court with just, you think he can't find any more dog poo, pigeon stools, etc. at the bottom of his backside. Nope. This morning, Matt Gaetz. How desperate have you got to be when you roll out and low on Boebert? Seriously? This is where it's come to? And what is it with the red tie? Oh, and before I forget, you've got Uncle Tim. Uncle Tim's coming through.
But Maria, we saw it in New Jersey. 107,000 people showed up to celebrate 4 years of Donald J. Trump. Well, you gotta love the American people.
Well,
There's no doubt President Trump is doing very well in the trial.
Kellyanne Conway reportedly privately encouraged Trump to pick you as his running mate. Have you discussed this with the president?
I have not. The one thing President Trump is focused on is making sure the American people get 4 more years of the low employment, low inflation, but high enthusiasm.
Well,
when the president makes a decision, I think we'll all be notified at the same time.
What about?
Morning, Maria.
Where does this investigation stand?
Well, hopefully we're in the final stages. This morning, I issued a subpoena for targeted financial information from a certain financial institution related to Jim Biden, Sarah Biden, and Hunter Biden.
What do you make? How do these debates play out from your perspective?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because, look, I'll just be very plain and simple. I was in the State of the Union address, and Joe Biden must have been jacked up on something that day. I absolutely believe that from a medical viewpoint, and actually have a little bit of good knowledge that happened. He can't stand it. He can't stand under the lights for that long, and I don't think he can keep a concept in his brain that long. It's going to be important that President Trump stays presidential. He did that during the last debate. He did not do that during the first debate. That he stays on track. He shows the American people how much worse they are 4 years from 4 years ago. What this President Biden has done to destroy this country. He just has to stay in his lane. President Trump just has to stay in his lane and act presidential. Sometimes he can get off on a wheel. We all know that and love that about him, but it sometimes hurts his issues. But Biden will falter and falter if he doesn't have things right in front of him telling him what to do.
Congressman, what do you mean when you say he was jacked up at the State of the Union?
I believe they gave him something to help him sustain the lights and sustain the vigor that he had. That was not Joe Biden. I was in there. He screamed for 2 hours. He screamed for 2 hours. And, maybe we can talk offline and I'll show you something, and I think that proves that.
Well, you'll show me what?
I think I can have some evidence that shows that he was given something before then.
Okay. In terms of a medicine or?
Yeah, Joe, there's no way Joe is 82. There was a picture taken of him last week when he was on the beach without his makeup on. And guess what? He looks like, an 82-year-old. You can see his surgical scar in the back where he had his facelift. You can see that very plainly. He's being manufactured and puppeteered by the Democratic Party to be president of the United States. And I fully believe that has to do sometimes with pharmacology.
Congressman, I'm going to follow up on that. I'd like to see more of that. That's really compelling. We'll follow it. Thank you very much, sir.
All right.
But outside, it's like Fort Knox. You can't get within 3 blocks of this place if you're a civilian. And it's a shame what they're doing. What they're doing in terms of suppression and election interference has never been anything like that. The good.
Worried about a conviction?
Will you testify, Mr. Trump?
Thank you very much. We are going to be, excuse me. We are going to be working with a lot of people over the next couple of weeks. This is finishing up at some point. It'll be finished. Every single review, every legal scholar that I've been able to read said there's no case There's no crime. It's a disgrace that it was allowed to happen. The judge, as you know, is highly conflicted, like nobody I've ever seen is conflicted. He should not be the judge. He should not be allowed to have anything to do with this case. He should be so far away from this case. Outside, if you take a look, it looks like we're Fort Knox. There's so many police, and they don't allow people to come. You know, you're allowed to have friendly protests, but we're not allowed to have anything here. They have more police and more assistant DAs and DAs. I've never seen anything like it. Over what everybody, Alan Dershowitz, everybody said, there's no crime here. There's no crime. Jonathan Turley, every single person, Greg Jarrett, Andy McCarthy, look, anyone you want to name, Mark Levin, great lawyer, all of them, great lawyers, great legal scholars.
Congressman, first, your impression of the political support you saw for the former president this week.
Well, you know, they're all attracted to the Mecca of the courthouse in order to demonstrate their complete obeisance and sycophancy to Donald Trump. I think it's a good thing that they are identifying themselves, the people who have completely allowed Donald Trump to devour their critical thinking skills and their political and moral independence. I mean, you know, Speaker Johnson is a guy who has said that the Bible is his guiding document and is basically the law of the land. And yet he's made the pilgrimage to New York to demonstrate, you know, how obsequious he can be to Donald Trump. A guy who is now an adjudicated rapist, an adjudicated fraudster in New York, and he's on trial for cooking the books for lots of money in order to cover up hush money payments to his porn star mistress. So, you know, I'm a member of the Free Thought Caucus, and we've been saying all along that Speaker Johnson's adherence to religion is just a form of political tribalism. It doesn't have anything to do with religious principle, and now he's showing the whole world that that's true.
Mitt Romney thinks that a guy who's a former president, who stole nuclear secrets, who stole our secret invasion plans to Iran, which we may still have to do at some point, who stole some of the most damning secrets about the United States regarding our defense weaknesses, and then lied about it to the FBI. FBI tries to get it back. Justice Department tries to get it back. Lies. Then when that doesn't work, he goes to his IT person, pressures him to destroy the information. The IT person, the cameras, refuses to. Then he goes to his groundskeeper, says, can you flood out those rooms with all of those documents, drain the pool, according to testimony that we're going to be hearing. All of this, massive cover-ups, obstruction of justice on top secret security issues, including nuclear secrets.
Senator Romney agrees with everything you said.
Yeah, but Mitt Romney just said, we should have just given him a free pass on all of that.
Yes, he's saying we should just move on. We should be done with Donald Trump. And Mitt Romney is very clear he's not going to vote for Donald Trump. But it's very strange to see a U.S. senator, a former governor, who has spent decades of his life in our government, who deeply respects our government, simply saying we should ignore the rule of law because all of this circus is good for Donald Trump politically. Donald Trump loves the free press, and it helps him.